Hello guys, welcome to the channel back, and today we are going to talk about paper 2 task 3, which worth 40 marks. Okay, so I really like this part because in my classroom I use different types of methods, especially for communicative activities. So I use pair work, small groups, sometimes mingle, sometimes I pair them and I let them share their opinions and ideas. Sometimes I use Pomodoro method, like after teaching for 20 to 25 minutes, I give them a short breaks, like 5 minutes, and then I reuse the warm up. And sometimes I also use board games. So when I prepare for this lesson, this paper 2 task 3, I had to read a lot of papers and also books, and with my study partners we discussed a lot about different techniques, pros and cons, what are the benefits for the students, and it really opened my eyes. I really miss that time talking about different things with my study partners. Okay, so let's get started. So this is a very useful lesson. Even if you're not going to take the exam, you should have a look at this one. So this is the obvious one, task type. And task focus is about different questions are from different backgrounds, like different resources, different approaches, methodologies, about learners, like student talking time or teachers talking time, about context, language acquisitions, teacher roles, a lot. Okay, so I also would like to give you some tips. Think of it as a brainstorming session, and don't be scared of the questions. I will show you the questions. These are the questions I prepared for the exam. I did a lot of past papers with my friend, and he also helped me a lot. Sometimes we talked in groups, sometimes we did it by ourselves at home, and then we discuss things again in class, or sometimes we just wrote down and check our answers. So I'm going to share you some of the questions. So when you read the questions, think of it as a brainstorming task, not as a question. Oh my gosh, what is it? I don't know. If you feel like that, it's not good for you, and it's also not good for your result. So just think of it as a brainstorming task. And then you need to use bullet points. You don't need to write down the whole paragraphs talking about introduction and conclusion. No, they are not needed. So just use the bullet points and give your answer. Okay, when you think of the answer, you also need to reflect your practical classroom experience and observations, and you need to consider not only from teachers' points of view but also from learners' perspective in mind. So it's really a good one for me. Okay, and I think it is also a good one for all the teachers. It can reflect what we are doing. So let's have a look at this one first. But even for the bullet point, you need to show the show the in-depth analysis and your in-depth your insight into the topic, not just the surface of something. You need to give the detailed explanation about things. Okay, so let's have a look. I will talk about only a few, and then I will give you what I prepared. For example, for this one, PPP method, we have already known that as teachers, we have already known that PPP is presentation, practice, and production. Okay, so what reasons are there for using PPP in ELT classroom? Okay, so let's brainstorm this one. Why PPP? Because it's a familiarized way, right? It is a familiar approach, and the outcome is clear. We have the lesson plan. We mostly for PPP we try to use we rely mostly on course books. So the lesson aim is clear, already scaffolded, clear step-by-step ways. Okay, so the teachers do not need a lot of preparation time. And it is also good for low-level learners. And classroom management is also good because teachers are sure about what to teach after one task after another. And learn from the point of learner's view, I guess they like it because the lessons are also predictable and they feel safe and confident and also motivated to do the exercises because they know what they are going to do next. So they means learners also get a sense of achievement, a sense of progress after doing exercises one by one. And how about the other things? It is also easier for less experienced teachers, and it can also make teachers feel more confident because they only have to rely on PPP. So presentation, practice, and production. So not a difficult one. But let's have a look at number B. You need to read the questions carefully. When I first started doing this, I did not read the questions carefully and I made a lot of mistakes. And my friends, my tutors, my study partners had to remind me again and again. For example, number B, it is also about PPP, but this is not about PPP, teaching approach. For PPP, this is presentation, practice, and production. But have a look. What are the advantages of organizing a language lesson in the following sequence? It is about production, presentation, and practice. Okay. So it is not the same. So does it ring any bell? It is production is first, and then presentation, and then practice. Okay? So it is more like test, teach, test, TTT approach. So especially this has a lot of advantages, especially for revising the language we have already covered. And then it makes the language more relevant, authentic, more personalized, because teachers need to test what the students have already learned, and then they only need to teach what they don't know. So learners also get a sense of progress or achievement after taking the test, after having the presentation first. After having the production first. Okay. Well, and it makes the language more relevant and authentic and more personalized, so it can enhance the memory retention of the students about the target language. Okay, and learners also notice what the gaps in their knowledge are. Maybe they think they have already known that topic, but when the teachers ask for the production first, they will realize that, oh, I don't know that part. I have to learn more about this and something like that. So yeah, these are the advantages. So learners can notice the gaps in their knowledge. It is also It also allows teachers to see what students have already learned and what they need to revise or what they need to learn as a new thing. So it is okay for, unlike the PPP method, this method, production, presentation, and practice, is okay for high-level learners. For presentation, practice, and production, this is relevant for low-level learners, whereas production, presentation, and practice is for high-level learners. Okay, so that's what I study for this one. So my friends, you can pause the video here, and you can also write down what you think of in the comment sections, and we can check the answers together. We can compare our answers. We can also discuss the answers later. These are the questions from 2023, 24, or 22, I guess. Thanks to my friends, I got a lot of past papers. These are the old papers. I think it is from 2016 or 17 about the matter language. error correction. See, teacher talking time and students talking time. What reasons are there for reducing teacher talking time? Reasons for reducing teacher talking time. Because learners can learn from each other and they feel easier to speak to a friend, to a classmate rather than the teacher. And it can also enhance the classroom interaction because students also have to participate when teachers reduce their talking time. So it makes student center. It is going to make a student center classroom, student center approach. And when teachers talk a lot, students can get frustrated or they get bored easily. Okay. So how do learners benefit from teacher talking time in a lesson? Teachers can provide models of language, and teachers can also give information or explanation about the target language. And it can also improve learners' listening skills, the exposure to the language. And what else? It can also remove the pressure for learners to perform immediately because teachers are going to explain the things ahead. Okay, so these are the good things. Promoting extensive reading. This is from 2023 December. I remember it because I just talked about that with my study partner this morning. And yeah, extensive reading. The arguments for promoting extensive reading. Arguments for, it means the good points of. I made a mistake. I talk about the bad things. If the question is asking about the bad things, they will ask you like arguments against. But now the question is arguments for, so you have to talk about the advantages, the good points. So the good points of extensive reading. I do a lot of extensive reading. So I think I can give you a lot of information about that. Like, it also depends on the learner's level. However, like extensive extensive reading can promote, promote understanding and phrases and vocabulary recognition. And it is also good for the learner's autonomy. And learners can also memorize the vocabularies by themselves a lot. So it is good for memory retention. And vocabulary acquisition would be great if learners read extensively, so they can acquire and like consolidate vocabulary naturally. So it is also kind of the receptive skills to productive use later. Yeah. Okay, and anything else? It can also enhance the overall language competency because when learners read not only from the coursebook materials but also from anything they are interested in, which means extensive reading, it's fun, right? They feel pleasant. They feel a sense of pleasant. Okay, so it can also motivate learners and it can affect positively. It can affect the learning process positively. So we can say extensive reading can increase engagement and also develop a positive attitude toward reading. Yeah. Yes, this one. And then learners can also build confidence. Wow, we can read this one. We can understand these things. Okay. So it's a really good one. And it's also kind of a lifelong learning skills. So yes, they can also foster the skills for autonomous learning outside of the classroom, outside of the formal, conventional classroom. And it can enhance their critical thinking without a doubt. Okay, so number B. What are the disadvantages of using graded readers to encourage extensive reading? This is the graded readers. So this is not authentic reading. So this is one of the disadvantages. So as it is not the authentic readings, the learners may not get the real life vocabulary, real life situations, because they have graded according to their levels. So it can also limit the learner's exposure to the natural way of expression, natural way of usage in the authentic materials. And it can also affect their long-term motivation. They dare not read the authentic version if they are used to reading the graded readers. That's what I think. Limited vocabulary, limited lexical coverage, limited complexity, and also grammar patterns. So it can also disrupt the flow for like the flow of reading. So it has negative impact on comprehension, some of the chunks, usages, colloquialisms, slangs, unlike the extensive reading practice. Okay, so that's what I think. And my study partners mentioned about dogma method. I do not have the question about the dogma. We call it both ways, right? Because I think it comes from French word dogma. Okay, so we also talk about that one in class. Um, Come to think of it, I use a lot of dogma approach, especially during the time I taught in the monastery as a volunteer teacher. So I could not provide a lot of course books, no copiers, no laptop, no PowerPoints, because it's at a poor monastery. So I had to use the dogma method. So I really like that one because the focus is quite spontaneous, and it can also enhance the real-time dialogue between the teachers and students, or even even among students. So it's like it prioritizes a lot of conversational communication, which comes naturally in the classroom. So I really like it. So these are the advantages of dogma method, and these are the disadvantages, because teachers need a lot of improvisational skills, linguistic knowledge, and also confidence to do so. These are the sentences we made in the group sections. We discussed a lot and then we wrote down. And some of the sentences are from ChatGPT, AI. We also brainstorm with AI. So these are the sentences. Oh, wait. I should make a video for some of the methods. Wait, I will attach another video with this one. Okay, so please watch the videos till the end. I will make another video and combine it with this one. Combine with this one. Okay, so my friends, let's call it a day and good luck for your exam. I know that the exam is just a few days away, so you are under a lot of pressure, but don't worry, you have already done a lot and it's enough. So good luck with your exam preparation. You have got this, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.